Hi, loves. Welcome to AW Confidential. If you've been following me long enough or have been listening to the podcast, you've probably heard me talk about or you've read some of my articles on 9/11. It was an experience that we'll never forget as a nation. And when I received the opportunity to speak to today's guest, it was a no-brainer. But I was nervous and I was emotional, but I knew that I had to do it. Today's guest is none other than Oscar-winning director Robert Port. In 2003, he told the story of Detective Joe Vigiano in Twin Towers. Now he returns with Twin Towers Legacy, a film that honors sacrifice, carries memory, and shows how resilience lives on through family and service. I hope that you receive this episode with love and it reminds you of the importance of carrying legacy. Enjoy. Hi, Robert. Congratulations, first of all, on Twin Towers Legacy. The
Thank you.
film, uh, it's an honor. The film, I watched it, truly honors purpose and legacy. I was there that day. I didn't expect the first 4 minutes. It took me back. You did such an amazing job. It's
Thank you.
not, I always say numbers tell a story, but what you did in those four, I think it was the first 4 minutes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was impactful because
Thank
it
you.
took me back there. So thank you for honoring
I I appreciate
that
it.
day.
That was a tough part of the film to do because I had made a pledge to myself. I was not going to be exploitive. I did not want to see the same old video of the horrible video of the planes crashing. But at the same time, I wanted to tell the story in a powerful and unique way. So my creative director, my graphic artist on this, Bruce Buddha, I call him. Yeah, he was ready to kill me because I probably made him redo those numbers, I don't know, 100 times to get them perfect. Yeah, it was trickier than I thought. I thought of the conceit of the idea, but to get it just perfect was so. Thank you for saying that, and I think it works effectively.
And
So,
I appreciated the sketches as opposed
uh,
to watching the images over and over because I
thank you
was
again.
there.
Yeah,
So
yes,
it
I
was
felt the same
beautiful.
way. Thank you so
It was
much. Thank you so
beautiful.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my first question is why now? More than 2 decades after Twin Towers, you chose to return to this story, Twin Towers Legacy.
Right.
What compelled you to revisit it now?
The timing was pretty spot on. Things just happen in life. We were hitting the 20th anniversary. I had stayed very close with the family. Joe and Kathy's sons were 6 months, three boys. They were 6 months, 6 years, and 8 years on 9/11. And now here we were approaching the 20th anniversary, and I was thinking about the fact that the oldest boy, Joey, was just leaving the academy, going into the same precinct, the 7-5, where mom and dad met, a very tough, notorious precinct. The middle brother, Jimmy, was in the police academy, and the youngest brother was heading to the fire department, but most likely going to the Marine Corps first. And I thought, well, this is too good to be true. I mean, I couldn't write this. Fortunately, the NYPD, I have a very close, wonderful friend, John Miller, who was a deputy commissioner at the time, and was very open and trusted me. We just did this. We didn't even have a handshake. He just said, "Go make a great film." And the NYPD, through the last 4 years, every administration's been unbelievably supportive. And without them, without the cooperation of the Vigianos, of course, I couldn't have done this. But without the backing of the NYPD, who were unafraid to just let me show everything, we could make
I
such
didn't
a
see that
beautiful.
coming.
Yeah,
I
I didn't
didn't.
either. I'll be honest with you. They let me. There was no no's. There was, anything you wanted, we'll let you do. Don't, do your best not to get hurt and just make a beautiful film. And
And it
and
gave us perspective, which I appreciate.
yes, thank you. And so they all were wonderful. It's a great partnership between all of us.
So watching Vigiano's sons step
Yes,
into service, two as NYPD officers,
correct,
one as a Marine,
correct.
what struck you most about the way they've expanded their father's legacy? And there's a strong legacy there.
There is, well, I'll tell you, as a parent of three boys myself,
Oh, wow.
I loved seeing the combination they are of mom and dad. They are they really are an amazing combination of their parents and their grandfather, who had a tremendous influence on their life. They're the best of both of them. We don't all get that in life, right? Some of us get the best and worst of our parents. Not me, of course. My parents are perfect,
Of
but
course, mine were too.
yeah, of course. But they really did. They got the best of their mom and dad. And I think that these boys grew up under a microscope. I mean, every September 11th, they're trudging out because the family is so unique what they went through. And they could have cracked and they could have gone a very different way, but instead they felt that calling. And when we discussed this, I felt this, but they would express it to me on and off camera sometimes. Um, there's a pressure. There's a tremendous pressure because you have to live up to who your father was. Their father's an incredible cop, shot twice in the line of duty, chest full of medals. Their mother, toughest cop I've ever met, worked in the 7-5, incredible, heroic, brilliant cop. And you have that pressure on you. And so I enjoyed, as a director, watching them on this journey of 4 years, trying to reconcile that with their own individuality. And I have to tell you, these kids are like the poster boys for the NYPD. They're just spectacular.
And they
Um,
care. They want to help. You
they
could see it.
see
It
it.
trend absolutely. I did see that, and like I said, I appreciated it being from New York, seeing
Yep.
that. We need to see more of that.
We do. I promise you, on and off duty, I've really come across people who just care that much for complete strangers. It's in their DNA. Listen, it's
Yeah,
in their
for
DNA. It's who
sure.
they are. So
For
yeah,
sure. Now, I believe that, life is school. We're
yes,
all about lessons. So
yep.
from documenting this family's journey, which was it was just so powerful, and it's just as good human beings, it's beautiful to see on screen during,
Mhm.
especially having tragedy as the backdrop. It must have been very difficult.
It
What
was.
did you personally learn about resilience, family, and healing?
Well, it's a great question. And I think that anytime I spend time with police officers, and specifically Jimmy and Joey in those 4 years and their comrades, is just the remarkable ability that these police officers, men and women, the officers, the sergeants, the lieutenants, all the way up, how calm they are. They look at situations, whether it's crises, whether it's tragedy, and they really go in it and they diffuse situations and they try to look at this in a very calm manner and really care about these people. And I think that if we all can take that and extrapolate that into our day-to-day life, it's a great lesson. You don't have to get mad at the guy who cuts you off on the corner. Someone, outside the supermarket needs a few bucks, give it to them. Because what they're doing every day is they're helping people. They love to help people. Jimmy has this great line in the movie that I really think
Ah,
sums it up, where he says, people see me on their worst day. I got to see people on their worst day, and I'm going to help them." And I think that that's something you don't have to be a police officer to do that. I think as human beings we can do that, and that's the biggest lesson that I reminded myself of in being around them. Because Lord knows I can't do any of the physical stuff. Jumping out of helicopters and my
the
gosh.
ESU is insane. Is it
Yes.
ESU?
Yes, he
Oh,
insane.
I
Yes, he
love
insane.
that you included that. Well, I mean, it's almost you look at them and you have to appreciate not just what they do, but the training and the time and the energy. It's Thank you for sharing that.
Oh no, I mean if New Yorkers had any concept of how many lives they save, the vast majority of what they're doing is saving people trapped on the subways, climbing the bridges, car accidents. That is most of what they do, contrary to, some of the headlines you read. 99%, they're just out there doing the Lord's work, saving people in situations that I promise you and I would. They wanted me to climb the bridge with them, and I was like, I hate heights. I will do anything.
So
I'm not climbing the bridge. That's never happening, ever going to happen. So my cameraman, Jeff Sussman, he was my cinematographer. He was fearless. He climbed the bridge with them. God bless him. But no, I had to draw the line.
bless. So I can't let you go without asking you this.
Yes,
Nearly 24 years later,
yes,
9/11 still shapes so many lives,
yes,
including mine.
yes.
How do you see film as a way to both honor memory and help us carry it forward without being crushed by it, because memories can, I know it's been 24 years. 9/11 again, I was emotional. I was
It's hard to
I'm
believe.
having this conversation and it's emotional.
Yes, if you
So
were there,
how do
which
you
I
balance that?
Yeah, if you were there, which I know you were, it's very difficult. I look at it in sort of a larger cinematic standpoint. I mean, I think if you look at to this day, some of the best movies that are coming out there are still movies about World War II. I think if you look at whether it's feature movies, fictional documentaries, books, I think that as long as we continue to tell stories, right, about the Holocaust, about genocides and other cultures, as long as we continue to find new and interesting ways to tell those stories, then that next generation, the current generation, is going to take something positive out of it. I think that for me, I didn't want to harp on the sadness. It's appropriately mournful, but honestly, I want this to be an inspirational story. And if I couldn't do that, I wouldn't have made the film. And that's what it is to me. And I hope that's what audiences take out of it. And I think that the next 9/11 film, hopefully, it's something where someone takes a different perspective of it. I don't want to see the video of the plane hitting the buildings anymore. I don't need to see that. What we
Agreed.
need to see are the lessons we've learned and the people who have come out of it and how, we can
And
heal
the heroes.
and the heroes and how we can heal as a nation
And, and the heroes come in uniform and out of
out of
uniform.
uniform.
You're a hero
Absolutely.
for
Oh,
creating this and
thank you.
spotlighting these
Thank you. I
amazing
appreciate you saying
men
that.
and women. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
honoring the
Thank
legacy.
you so
And
much.
thank you for
Okay.
your time.
Yes. Thank you for your interest.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of AW Confidential. If anything, my hope is that it inspired you or it just reminded you of how important legacy is. If nothing else, let this be your reminder that 24 years ago, 2,977 lives were lost on 9/11. 343 were members of the FDNY, 37 were Port Authority officers, and 23 were from the NYPD. Robert, thank you for honoring this legacy. The truth is clear. Memory isn't just about what we lost, it's about how we choose to carry it forward. And I hope that you carry it forward with grace, with respect, and continue to honor the legacy. Thank you for joining me on this very special episode. I'll talk to you soon.